So we really want you to understand that this is just a preliminary familiarization. So I want to start by saying that demonstrations from the civil rights movement on to the present time have vindicated the fact that with people with special skills, like peace monitor skills, the events have been much more successful. And successful in a lot of ways. The actual running of the event, the smoothness, directing people so everybody knows where they're going and what they're doing, and keeping the march together instead of getting strung out. All these technical details are things that you folks will help facilitate at this event. There's going to be a rally where we're standing there watching people give presentations, and there's lots to do during that time. Then there's the march, and there's a whole different set of skills we need there. But why peaceful? We need the nonviolence training. We need the events to be nonviolent. Why? Because if they're not, that's what the press picks up on. It can be a perfectly beautiful demonstration, beautiful event, and one counter-protester incites one protester to a big argument, and what do you see in the front page the next day? Right? You see the fight. And that's not the face we want to put out there. We don't go to these demonstrations to convince ourselves that DOMA is bad and wrong and should be repealed. We know that. We're there to show a face to the rest of the world. In this case, San Diego. People will be there from news wire services. These pictures could show up anywhere. We want them to be positive. We want them to be a positive face for the rest of the world. To the people who are on the fence, who are not really convinced one way or the other, but can say, you know, those folks look reasonable. They look like good people. If they see a bunch of bricks thrown through windows, people can get really upset and want to throw bricks through windows. Our own people. But we've got to keep that from happening, and that's what our job is to maintain the nonviolence so that the pictures that go out, our face, is positive and something people can identify with and want to support. So with that, with Wendy Sue, we're going to go back and forth on some of these different concepts. We're going to email you this so you can keep it or read it. I guess you can let everyone keep these printed ones this time.
Can I? Yeah.
Right?
We're
Okay.
trying to save trees by not printing so many.
Okay,
But this
good.
way, if I send it to you electronically, you've got it, and you can also pass it on to other people that might be interested in learning about being peace monitors. We set the tone for the action. They establish a positive and affirmative atmosphere by being warm and helpful to participants, by leading songs and chants, and by providing needed information to the group as a whole. Act as a communication network. They act as an important face-to-face communication link between the coordinators of the action and the participants. Act as a communication network. Provide emergency medical and legal aid. Peace monitors are frequently the first people on the spot when a medical or legal emergency arises. They can play an important supportive role for the person who needs assistance. They also can direct the problem to the appropriate medical or legal representative. And that goes against what we're trying to put out there. The media will see you running, they will focus on you, and what does the media like to do? They want to focus on tension, focus on what's going to make news, what's going to be sensational. So please, no running. Nothing is that important that you have to run to that you're putting yourself at risk, because if you're running, you might slip and fall and trip and hurt yourself, and then we've got not one but two medical problems on our hands.
Someone provokes them, and they just go off, and they can't control themselves, and we have to be there for that. And with logic and reason. Remember, we're not police. We're not junior police, and we can't tell anybody what to do. We don't have that kind of authority. Our authority comes from a moral authority of being a volunteer for a demonstration that's supposed to promote our rights. And if people understand that, they will do what you ask them to do if you ask nicely. Okay, so that's the deal. And with that, I'll get right into, we need to be warm and friendly and helpful. The tone of the demonstration depends on how we respond to our fellow demonstrators, to the police, to the media, everybody. You know, the public is watching, and we want them to see what we want them to see. And that's not negativity, it's positivity. And I apologize for my phone going off. There's somebody trying to get a hold of me very desperately, but it shouldn't happen again.